category. If I put a postcard in something else, toys, it's not going to allow me to use eBay standard envelope because it's in the wrong category per here. Welcome back to some postcards. Another video today. Agenda's right down here. What I usually go through is the what's sold on eBay. I only sell on eBay now, and I sold 12 cards. Had a couple pretty good ones. We'll go through those real quick in the beginning, and then we'll get into the deep dive on zoo postcards, animal zoos. We have a lot of zoos. We have Brookfield Zoo, Lincoln Park Zoo around here. I think every major city has a zoo, and I usually hit the aquariums when I go to major cities, but we'll get in there and talk about that, the sell-through rate, the prices, what I see with them, and see if there's a strategy for those. And then I put a poll. I get a lot of people asking me this question as well. Do you prefer posted or unposted cards? Which ones sell better? So we're going to get into that, and I did a poll, and we'll see what people say and talk a little bit about that. That'll be a pretty quick poll because it's cut and dry. And then always at the end of the videos on Monday, I pull some viewer comments from YouTube and email and talk about those. I probably already replied to the original poster, but they're good questions that I think people probably want to ask and they haven't. But you can always leave a comment in YouTube. Those are open season for me. It's got your comment, it's public. The emails are a little bit more private. I'll pull stuff out, not use a name, or if you want me, allow me to, I'll ask or whatever, and it's okay to post out. But if you want more private, just send it to contact@SMPostcards.com, and if I haven't got back to you, send it again. I think I got back to everybody so far. But let's get started on what's sold. Sold 12 cards. Sales are still up and down. Everybody's asking me about Q4 and all that. I never look at the Q4 holiday season stuff. Postcards are collectibles. They just sell throughout the year. Yeah, people are buying a little bit more during the holidays. They'll buy some of the Navy ships for their Christmas cards and stuff like that. But I don't see that big of an increase. I usually see a little bit more in the beginning of the year, January, February, March. Basically January and February. So, but basically now 2024 is over for me. I've been looking at 2025 for a while. It's not going to make or change my year. It's Q4 and stuff like that. It's a lot of that stuff. I call it. People get really tied into all the little semantics about selling, and they think they got it all covered and know all the stuff. And some of that stuff is just icing on the cake, pieces of the puzzle. But the biggest thing is, what value do you bring with your item? Good price, good presentation, and you back up your stuff. It's reputation, a lot of it. People are going to come back in the collectible world to the same seller knowing they're covered and they're shipped out on time and stuff like that. There's no conversations about stuff if they didn't get it. Just take care of the customer and sales will come. But the first card sold for $5.55. It's a submarine chaser. So, I don't know. I think it's a white border card, and it's a submarine chaser. It's a pretty neat card. That sold for $5.55. Next one, I always sell these yucca trees in the Mojave Desert. Yucca trees, Joshua trees, they just sell. Now, this one here sold for $4.75, just a linen card. It is a Fred Harvey, and in the video for Yellowstone, I think I talked about Grand Canyon. I think I talked about Fred Harvey and his company that did that. But I always sell these desert plants. They don't go for a lot of money, but they always move a little quicker sometimes. That sold for $4.75. This is the Mystery Ship Seaport. The Mystery Ship afloat and anchored at the Mystery Ship Seaport in the River Park, Menominee, Michigan. It's a mystery ship. I'm not sure what it's all about, but it's parked in the park. Come card, $4.75. Next one sold for $5.65. Pennsylvania Railroad Station. Divided back card. That's the Pennsylvania Railroad Station. Unposted. And $5.65. Next one's a multi-view of Worcester. Polytechnic Institute, Worcester, Massachusetts. Those are types of schools I like. But that's what I call a multi-view. It's a learning card, unposted, $4.75. Next one sold for $5.75. This is the Outdoor Theater, Connecticut College, New London, Connecticut. It's just a linen card with some grass. $5.75. I don't know. And then this one sold for $5.09. This is the Parkview Motel in Springfield, Illinois. Nice chrome card, good condition, and $5.09. Some lady standing on a mountain, Grafton Notch, Maine. I think it's a lady or it's a guy. Standing on a mountain. Posted in 1964. 60 years ago. $4.75. Another linen card. Armory, Women's Club Building in North High School, Worcester, Massachusetts. Nice colors on the linens. And this was posted, it doesn't say, but it's a posted card, linen, $4.75. Some building, John Hancock Mutual Life Insurance Building, Boston, Massachusetts, $4.75. Chrome card. They also Chesapeake Bay Bridge. I've sold this. I didn't even really look and see what it is. I can just tell by the many cards I've done. 1975 it was posted. Chrome card, $4.75. Last card, the best one of the day. American Book Company, North 300 Pike Street, Cincinnati. They did printing and stuff like that. It more of an arcade card. It's nice thick cardstock, but it doesn't have the postcard back. Stamp box, address, message, title, or line. It doesn't have a postcard back, but I still put it out there because it's a postcard to me. They can still write on there and put a stamp on it. And this sold for $16.79. So $17 for that card. Not too bad. My goal for 2024 is to sell 16 cards a day. I did 12 today. I want to do $80 a day is my goal. I'm over that for the year. I'm about 12 or 13 cards a day average for the year. There, I won't hit the 16 for the year. But I'm still good because the dollars are there. I'm over $80 for sure. I've sold some good cards, had some good days and some bad days. Today was $77.33 gross. I don't do take all the other stuff out. It'd be too complicated to try to explain that. And if I take $77.33 divided by 12 postcards sold, it gives me an average sale price of $6.44 for the day. And that $17 card helped. But that's how I track the sales every day. I just pack up what's the night before, put them in the mailbox. If I'm going somewhere and I know I sold some things, I'll run those in the mailbox. I don't have a problem shipping 6 days a week. It's the easiest, best thing to do, I think, for my business, that I have full control over. I want to get as many extra days, especially with the holidays coming up, and we're in the holidays, coming season. A lot of packages go through the system. I want to get every extra day I can so I don't have those conversations. Where's my postcard? I didn't get it. I don't want to deal with that. I don't deal with a lot of it as it is. That's what's sold. Zoos. Every time I think of the zoo, I think of the movie Planet of the Apes, where the apes find that humans kept apes in cages, and now they run the world, and the humans are like the apes. For some reason, I always think of that. Planet of the Apes is one of my favorite movies and franchise out there. I like watching it. The movie, I'll watch them over and over, even the older ones. But zoos, I love going to zoos. I can spend days in the zoo walking around, especially the aquariums, the shows, just looking at the animals. I enjoy it. Chicago, we got the Shed Aquarium. We got Lincoln Park Zoo, Brookfield Zoo, which is west of Chicago. Lincoln Park Zoo is north, and then some of the bigger cities. But I'm going to talk a little bit about zoo and the history of them. I got 3 facts about zoos, and while I do that, I'm going to show you some postcards I found out there with zoos and animals and stuff like that. Then we're going to talk sell-through rate and pricing. I didn't find any extreme pricing, so we're going to go from high to low on 8 different cards. Here we go. Zoos have been around for thousands of years, with some of the earliest records coming from ancient civilizations like Egypt, China, and Rome. These early zoos, known as menageries, were often used by kings and emperors to display exotic animals as symbols of their power and wealth. These menageries usually housed animals like lions, elephants, and camels, but they were often kept in poor conditions and served more of a status symbol than a place for education and conservation. In the 19th century, zoos began to change significantly. The first modern zoo, the Berlin Zoo, opened in 1844 and was designed to be more than just a place to show off animals. It aimed to provide better living conditions for animals and to educate the public about them. The new approach marked the beginning of zoos focusing on conservation, scientific research, and public education, rather than just entertainment. Today, zoos are much more advanced. They are dedicated to preserving endangered species, conducting scientific research, and educating visitors about wildlife and conservation. Many modern zoos create natural habitats that mimic the animals' wild environments to improve their well-being. They also work on breeding programs to help protect the species that are at risk of extinction, making zoos important centers for wildlife conservation and education. Zoo postcards are a fun way to share the excitement and wonder of visiting a zoo. They often feature vibrant images of exotic animals, from majestic lions and playful pandas to colorful birds and curious monkeys. These postcards capture the lively atmosphere of the zoo, showcasing not just the animals, but also the beautiful designed habitats and engaging exhibits. Sending or collecting zoo postcards is a great way to remember a special day at the zoo and to share a bit of wildlife magic with friends and family. Remember those little machines that used to make those molds of the dolphins where you put $1 in or 75 cents? We used to have a lot of those. Every time we went, we always had to get one of those. We went to the zoos more on field trips with the school than we did the family. 3 facts. The Berlin Zoo buried a time capsule in 1937, which included items like zoo memorabilia and a list of animals living there at the time. Oddly, the capsule also contained the preserved paw print of a lion, intended to give future generations a glimpse of the zoo's past. Second fact, the great penguin escape. They got out. In the 1980s, the Edinburgh Zoo faced a strange situation when a group of penguins managed to escape their enclosure. I think they got together and had a plan. They waddled through the zoo streets and even visited nearby neighborhoods, causing a delightful commotion before being safely returned to their home. I like watching penguins, they're cool. So they got out, the great escape. A zoo, and the third fact, a zoo of unusual animals. In the earliest 20th century, the famous animal collector and showman Carl Hagenbeck created an animal train with animals ranging from tigers to elephants, which he traveled with across Europe. This traveling zoo was not just for show, it was a bizarre mix of circus and zoological wonders that amazed audience with exotic displays. Like Ringling Circus, they summered in Sarasota and they traveled the states for the shows on their trains and stuff like that. We visit down there in Sarasota every year in Siesta Key, and we've been to the Ringling Museum and all that stuff, and we see a lot of that down there. But zoos are cool. I really enjoy them. And for some reason I always go when it's hot. But the baboons I like, and then especially the aquariums. It's the history of zoos. Just a pared down version. There's more to learn about zoos. There's so many different ones to look at. You'll see them in postcards. But do they sell? Do these animal postcards sell? These zoos? The sell-through rate. So sell-through rate is how many cards are moving through the system. A lot of stuff affect that. It's how many cards you got of them, the pricing, your reputation, where you're trying to sell them. I look at eBay. I want to know a 90-day period snapshot, just how many cards are moving through the eBay ecosystem from start to finish. So but do that, I do sell-through rate. I don't want to spend all my time just to sit down and try to figure out something, just a possibility, a speculation. But it does give me some data. So it gives me a data-driven decision to help making those decisions that I usually just made. Oh, this looks cool, maybe it'll sell or not. It gives me an idea of what might sell over some other stuff. So I use ranges in this chart. The red is 0 to 3. Low ones, they'll sell, but they're going to take a longer than the greens. 4 to 10% is where I work, the average and high. And while I'm looking for those, I'm going to find the other cards that are 11 plus. Real photos, one-of-a-kinds, Halloween, all that stuff sells themselves. You just need to go out and do your homework, put the right price on shipping and stuff like that. A lot of those are going to go to collectors and sell themselves. I'm talking about cards that pay my bills every day that I get in lots. I see at shows. Now, if I'm targeting the real photos and stuff, yeah, I'm going to do those differently. They're going to go in a special folder. I'm going to spend time with them. These cards, they come in, they move their quantity and stuff like that. I don't spend a lot of time on 4 to 10% cards. The 11 plus, I'm going to do a little bit more homework with. The reds, I kind of know what not to pick up, but I still pick them up. I just think they're cool cards and they just aren't worth picking up. It happens to everybody. But how I do sell-through rate is I just went out to eBay and I put postcard space zoo. That's it. I take the sold divided by listed, I times it by 100 to get a percent, and I round the percent up or down, just get a solid percent so I can remember it. So we had 998 zoo postcards sold in 90 days with 18,000 listed. Times it by 100 gives you a 6% sell-through rate. And if you look at the chart, that's an average card. So I know it's an average card. It's green, I'm going to pick it up, but I'm not going to pay a lot for it. I'm not going to pay top dollar that I would pay for a high and very high cards. This is what it helps me with. If I have a box and it's half full of zoo cards and they want $100 for that box, no, I'm not paying that because I know they're going to sit. I'll list them, but I know they're going to sit and I'm not going to get top dollar for them. So I got to keep that cost down on there. Now, if the other half of the box is fully loaded with great stuff, yeah, you might want to take a hit and pay up and pay the $100 and get those, and the other ones are, the zoo cards will pay for the box. But this is how it helps me. But when you have a sell-through rate like Postcard Zoo 6%, how do you know it's good? Did you calculate it right? Is it a one-off thing or something like that? So I go out there and I grab 3 other things in the same genre type thing. I try to hit as close as possible. So I went out there and I did Postcard Safari Park, because safari parks over in Africa and stuff like that, those are like zoos that we use here. 7%, so 6, 7, not bad. Then we got 6% for zoo. Then aquariums are like zoos, but they're fish. 4%, so 4, 6% still in the average. And then sanctuaries, those animal sanctuaries where the buffaloes and stuff like that, 2%. Maybe that's not a good word to use. That's what else this can do, is it didn't show a lot. People are using zoos more than sanctuary on there. So I think 6% will hold. It's an average card. 4 to 7%. It's an average card. Don't pay a lot for them and stuff like that. There's a lot of them out there. So I'm done with sell-through. I know it's a card I'll pick up, but I'm not going to pay a lot for it. But then you get into pricing. I usually try to find a high water mark of pricing at the extreme level. Stuff that's kind of an outlier, but what makes them special and what the high watermark is. Then I move down to the average that we see all the time and what's the high watermark there. I didn't find it again on these zoo postcards. Yeah, there were some outliers and stuff and some real low 99 cents. I throw those out. Those don't mean anything to me because that's going to throw the equation off for that 1 time, 2 times they sold something like that, or those 99-cent, $1.99. Those days are gone to me. There's no money there. And it's waste of time to me when I see a lot of that. It's just a quantity thing. But people do well in that area. It's not my niche, so I don't deal with them. But the first one I found here was Longfellow Garden Zoo, Minnesota. It's an entrance. You see a lot of zoo entrance postcards is what I find with the picture of the zoo entrance or picture of the parks with the entrance. This was $26.50. They took best offer, $20 for Longfellow Gardens. That was one of the top one. And then you move down to this one. It's a Monterey Zoo, Woodland Park, Seattle, Washington. It's got some dates in there. Another $26.39. Must have had some kind of offer or something like that. I don't know who would put $26.39 as a price. I wouldn't think of it. But that's another one. Looks kind of like the entrance there. So that's not bad. So we're looking at $25. $25. And here's another entrance to Brookfield Zoo, Chicago. It's right close where I used to work for years. My office was right up there by Oak Brook and Brookfield. This was, they say Chicago, but it's west of Chicago toward Westchester and Willow Springs and Brookfield. Almost straight west, about 20 miles of Chicago. Another entrance. $20 best offer, maybe $15. So we're looking at $15 to $25 as we move down the ladder to the things. And then these cards, I will list these cards all day long for $4.75, $5.75, around there. They're easy to list. They're animals. I've seen cards like this. This sold for $20.52. I try, when I get things like this, to do some comping, a little extra effort, because some of these can be interesting. Like this one. Who would think that 200-pound Galapagos tortoise at Staten Island Zoo was $20? They put it in, they probably didn't know that, but they put it in auction and they got $20. So you want to be careful with some of these. I sometimes just blow through them and just move them if I got them for a good price. And then here's a linen card. This is what makes linen so great. Look at this. It's a tiger in Toledo, Ohio Zoo, a Bengal tiger. And just look at the colors in there. That's got to be a linen card to me. $12. Yeah, what sold that card is just that presentation, I think, right there, and the Bengal tiger. That's something that makes a card. The card sold itself right there. There's not much you had to do. So $12. So we went from $25, $25 down to $15. Now we're down to $12. And then you got the Monkey Island. I think. I bet you. It's, yep. Florida Jacksonville Zoo Monkey Island. I've seen this card before, many different versions of it. $12. That was an auction, and they got that. So Monkey Island, look for those. They go a little better sometimes. When I see them, I set them to the side just to do a little bit of due diligence. Now, would I price that tiger we saw up? I probably would have put that as $5.75 or there, but $12. That was. I don't think I would have went that high. But if I would have went out there and comped it and maybe saw that, maybe I would. But those are good prices. Monkey Island, that's not a bad price. I've seen them go for more on Monkey Islands. And then you got the bear, Phoenix Zoo, Arizona. This is like one of those stage dioramas, I think. $6.97. Now we're going down more on there. So $7. And then you got giraffes at the New York Zoo, the Bronx Zoo. They're feeding. $5.70. So they're all over the board. If you want to really do your homework and let them sit, you can probably get a little bit more money. I use these cards to move them. Animal cards, I'll buy a box of animal cards for $25 and get 1,000 postcards. 25, 40 bucks. You got pennies in these cards. I just move them. And if someone gets an extra dollar out of them and stuff, I get my margin and I move to them. But I wouldn't know to put that tortoise at $20 or that tiger at $12. And I'm not going to sit there and just count those on there. So someone got a good deal. But Monkey Island, I know, some of the zoos, the real photos, they sell themselves. So it's just one of those cards. If you want to spend the time, you might get an extra dollar, 25 cents, or $10, or you just sell as much as you can and make it up on the average. And that's more my game plan and stuff like that. So zoos are your average card to me. I'll pick them up. I'm not going to pay a lot. If someone's selling a bunch of animal cards, I'll buy them. They're easy to list. And I've had people buy just birds. I put up a bunch of state birds. Had a bunch of postcards about the state birds of the United States, what their state bird was, to a couple people that were just buying 10, 5, 10 at a time. And I didn't think they would sell it fast. They did. So you never know. No one really knows sometimes. But this gives you a better idea of what to do when you see zoo postcards and stuff like that. Who knew? Now every Saturday I do a poll. It's in the community channel, on the channel community section, and they're all out there. I leave them out there. But these are polls maybe sometimes other viewers want me to ask, or questions that I think of, and I just write them down and I go out and I schedule them out there on Saturdays. They're real quick polls. If you go in and participate and just select an option and don't put a comment, I have no idea who you are. No one does. The name's not there, but if you leave a comment, I do see the name and I do use those on the videos. But don't be afraid to ask comments or stuff like that. People want to hear that we're doing it the same way, or wow, you got something different. There's room for everybody in this market. There's 10 to 12 million postcards on eBay at any given time with thousands of sellers. Prices range from 99 cents to hundreds of dollars. If you're trying to fight that part of the competition, it'll wear you down. What I try to do is just make sure I got all the pieces of puzzles together, I have a good reputation, and I get visibility out there. I don't worry about the 25, 50 cent extra. I just want to move cards, and I work in the average 4 to 10%. So this poll, a lot of people ask me about posted or unposted postcards. They cannot believe that cards with writing on them on the front or back sell. I go, I don't even think of it anymore. If it's writing or non-writing, they sell. Some collectors want unposted, pristine postcards. That's your 1 to 5% of people. Most people just want a picture of that lake they live by, or they went on vacation with their father, or the state they're from. They're collecting the state, or they're collecting purple rhinoceros and blue flamingos. That's what they do, or lighthouses. And what's on the back sometimes can be neat to read and stuff, and I'm not a back reader, so. But I put it out there. I said, do you prefer posted or unposted? And the first option, I prefer posted. 68% want the writing on it. I think that goes against what a lot of people think when they get into postcards. I prefer unposted was 15%, and other was 17%, so they'll take both, I think is what that is. I picked out 4 comments. I had a lot of comments on this one. I appreciate the comments. I'm able to pick what it is. But I just picked out 4 real quick so we can go through here. Deborah Carter said, for me, I love the messages. Ice skating on a lake, dances, picnics, crops, love stories, travel stories, funny notes, lost local history. She just loves it. It is why I take so long to list. I have to read each one. Yeah, it can be a rabbit hole. That's why I don't. I'll get stuck chasing down addresses or whatever. I also look at addresses. Yeah, she looks up the addresses and sometimes wonder the homes, churches, businesses are still there. Sometimes better than what's on the other side, in my opinion. So a lot of people will spend the time and stuff like that and go through and get that extra time and maybe price it up because that church isn't there anymore. They had a great fire, or it's changed to something else. The bowling alley is now an auto dealer place or whatever. I don't do that on a lot of cards. I'm not the big deep researcher. I want to move cards so that people can do that at a good price so they can resell them or keep them as collections. But thanks, Deborah. Sandy here said, stamp postcards help me with dating the card, and sometimes the correspondence is very interesting, but I actually like both. So she picks up both. Yeah, the stamp boxes, stamps, the postmark, all give you a good deal about dating postcards. But a lot of times with the errors, you can pretty well get them in the spot. It's not the hardest. And are you targeting just the collectors by dating them? But if I look at this card, this is linen. So if I take my little handy dandy sheet here and I look at linen, 1930 to 1945, and Kurt Tyke is who did this one. They have little numbers in the bottom and it can help you out. This one is a divided back card, and if I look at that on my little thing, it'll get me in the thing, 1907 to 1915. The dates go a little bit on there. I just pick out the ones I want to use on there. That does help you on the back, especially if it's got wartime stories and stuff. So thanks, Sandy. Then Burnt and Ernie, 442. Posted is preferred just for the reason of the date stamp or the contents of the message. Yeah, a lot of people are in the ephemera and are into a lot of that, reading the back and getting the history and stuff like that. I'm not that person. I know I'm not that person, so I didn't go down that route. There's nothing bad with it. I think it's cool that people can do that, but I'm more one that likes to move things, and that's how I work, and I enjoy that. Thanks, Bert and Ernie. And then Cat D, whatever postcard sells for the most, no preference. Yeah, it's resellers, it's whatever sells. I don't see a difference in post or posted. I sell both all the time. I don't even consider there. Now, if I had a really pristine card of a certain one I know does really well and it's not posted, will that do better than the one that's got some writing on it and it's posted? So I don't lose sleep over unposted or posted on there. But just like the sellers here and you, buyers also might have a preference or don't have a preference of buying. I sell both. So who are you targeting? In eBay, in the listing that says posted or unposted, if you forget to check that and left it unposted, I don't really think people are going to come after you. It's not that big of a deal. But I try to hit all the item specifics and get it right. Just so I don't know if everybody's searching for posted or unposted. I don't lose sleep over it. It's nice to have, but it's not going to get you from 5 cards sold a day to 50 cards sold a day. That's not going to make the difference. Just another piece of the puzzle to round it out. That's the poll. Now we're going to get into viewer comments. At the end of every video on Mondays, I go and I grab some comments from people because these are questions that people have. Or it might spark something that you never thought about. And I give you my spin on it, a little more ad-libbed here and stuff like that. And stuff I take for granted, or you take for granted, might some people might not even think of that, and this is how people grow in the reselling world of postcards or other things. But the first one I got here is Bruce P. Squirrel Official. Now this was a 3 comment. We went back and forth. I was up late last night and I seen this and it came through. I always want to help people with eBay standard envelope because I think it's the best, one of the best things with also sending offers that eBay's ever done. Squirrel here said, Bruce, I can't find the standard envelope option. Where is it? I'm selling stickers. I'm saying, well, stickers are part of eBay standard envelope. I haven't done this in a while. Mine just shows up in my templates. I went out there and I said, stickers are in the statement here. So I went out to eBay Help and put eBay standard envelope in the eBay Help. And I replied to this to them real quick. Stickers are in the statement here in the eBay Help files for eBay standard envelope. And this is what it states in eBay Help files. eBay standard envelope is the low-cost way to ship small, lightweight items such as trading cards, postcards, stamps, patches, currency and coins, stickers, and decals, greeting cards, seeds with a tracking number. So stickers is in the help file with the requirements for eBay standard envelope. So I sent that to him. Well, then he replied real quick and said, I found it. I had to change my dimensions to get ESE option appear. Thanks for your help. All right, now I can go to sleep. So basically, he was in the eBay standard envelope works by categories, eBay categories, not your store categories. There's 2 different things. There's if you have an eBay store, you can put categories like a department store in there. eBay has categories where they want you to list. So Postcards has topographical, non-topographical, all that other stuff. I just put them in one out there. So that's in the postcard category. If I put a postcard in something else, toys, it's not going to allow me to use eBay standard envelope because it's in the wrong category per here. He was in the right stickers in the category. I also mentioned to him maybe he wants to go out and look at another seller and see what their categories are using and see if he's right. But eBay standard envelope is category specific. So if you're not seeing it, make sure you're in the right category. He found it, but I never thought of this part. I thought it was in the wrong category. It's usually what it is. It was the dimensions that he was putting in was bigger than the requirements for eBay standard envelope. Once he figured that out and changed it, he went to sleep. So there's always a way to work through stuff. It's not all eBay glitches. It's something we do a lot of times. 99.9% of the time, it's something we've done. He didn't do this on purpose, but he learned. Now he can use eBay standard envelope for stickers. If it gets lost or damaged, it's got eBay insurance. It's got a little bit of tracking. It's cheaper for the customer. It's going to help sell more stickers, I believe. So that's the conversations we can get into. If there's questions, people can also jump in and answer and stuff like that. So I would say 5-10 minutes. He had this figured out. He went to bed. We've all been through different things. So that's all you got to do. Thanks, Bruce, for that little conversation. I think it's going to help a lot of people to look at dimensions and category. I got to think about dimensions now. I've learned something too, is dimensions. I would never think anybody would put an envelope over the dimensions. So maybe you're off just by an inch or something. So it helped me. Daniel Jacobs here, I'll put a comment in. I list them all if they are good ones. Right now I can't sell anything. I've had that 39 World's Fair card. I sell a lot of World's Fair card. I watch all your videos. Stan's mostly postcards. So basically, Daniel's been saying that he's having a hard time with sales. This is not the only comment I've gotten from Daniel. I wish I could go out there and really help him. I tried with the videos, but he's having a rough time just like everybody this year. This year has been a tough year. 2024 for me is over. I'm looking at 2025, what I'm going to do different, and not much. I'm just going to be looking for some better cards and try to keep my 16 cards $80 a day and raise my ASP. He just lists everything out there on stuff like that. Are you guys having a rough year as well? I think everybody has. If you don't have a few other things coming in to help out. But Daniel, if you got any extra questions or you want to hit me in the email, I see if I can help you. Maybe put our heads together and come up with something and see if we can get some things moving. That's what I'm here for. I'm not going to run a person's business, but if they have specific questions, I can give specific answers or point them to someone else that knows that stuff better than I do. So if I don't know it all, I'm just a conduit to get things through. But thanks for all your comments, Daniel. It puts things in perspective when people come in and say and be truthful like you are. And thanks for watching all the videos. Bill came in, said, great video on Native American postcards. One buyer purchased 4 of our Chrome American Indian cards earlier this month. So they do sell. They come in batches. You never know what sells. We kind of know some things, but that's why sell-through rate and pricing kind of helps me to figure out, okay, is this worth picking up? Is it going to go, or is it going to sit? A lot of them that I sell sit. And the niche I'm in, divided back to Chrome, I know they're going to sit. I do get some fast movers, but they sit. And then Bill had an unrelated question. Did I understand correctly that you have all your eBay listings on a spreadsheet? I must have said that in the video. Yes, I do, Bill. Had it from day one. And here's the reason. And here's a snapshot. So I have this little spreadsheet I've had forever. It has all the postcards I have listed on eBay. And here's the columns. And then we'll get into how I do it. So the column A is the date that I listed it. The next one, the item, is actually once I get done creating the title in eBay, I just copy that, put it here for the title, and I'll tell you how I do that in a minute. And so I don't type it here, I just copy and paste there. And then when I print out the labels and stuff that I put on my sleeves, because I use the SKU number label. I have a number on every sleeve on every card that I have listed in my boxes. You can just, in Excel, just drag down and it'll sequentially create numbers. So I know what label, the next label is correct and put on the card, on the sleeve, so I know where it is. Then how many of those do I have? Sometimes I have 2 or 3 of certain ones. What did I pay? Average. I don't go down to exactly what I paid for each card. I look at the average for the year. This year I said about 15 cents. I'm a little conservative. I go a little higher just to make sure I'm covered. It's not going to kill me in taxes or whatever. I'm not going to get down to 3 cents for this card, 2 cents for... No, I come up with an average for the year. If the IRS wants to come in and count all my postcards and look at everything I have, so be it. I don't think they are going to. And this is conservative, so I'm okay there. Now, if I go out and buy a bunch of cards and they were $6 a piece and stuff, those I do change from my average because I know I need to get more money for those because I paid up on them. It takes the quantity times cost and it adds it up. How many? If I got 3, it'd be 45 cents. If I got 2, it's 30 cents. And 1, it's 15 cents. And then when it sells, at the end of every quarter, every day I sell a postcard, I have another tab on my spreadsheet, and it's very custom. I'll never share the spreadsheet because it's so custom and got macros and other programming in there that's just for me. It's something that would not work for most people at all because I've customized it over the years. But I can give you the stuff like this to show you what I do. But at the end of every day when I go to ship, I grab the SKU numbers and I put 1 in the SKU number, and then it goes over to this table here, this spreadsheet here, worksheet, and it pulls, it's a VLOOKUP command, and it pulls from the SKU number and it tells me the price. So it gives me what my cost of goods sold is. There's 2 ways to do cost of goods sold. You can do the accrual or you can do the cash method, basically. If I went out and bought $5,000 worth of postcards today, and I expensed them out at $5,000, I'm going to have a deficit every month for a while because I'm not going to be able to get those listed, get them sold. So for 4 to 6 months, I'm going to carry $5,000, and it's going to look bad on my books because it looks like I'm not making money. Where if you do accrual, as you sell it, you expense it. So what I do on my daily books and quarterly books here, I do accrual. So it gives me, automatically populates the number I need for cost of goods sold. But at the end of the year, me and the CPA, we do cash. That spreadsheet, by keeping this, I can look at this. Once I chew everything up, go to the total, I can see how much my inventory is worth out there. I have a beginning and ending inventory every year that I give to my CPA. I can give it to her right now because I have it already done. I don't go and count these cards. I don't look at the listing. It's what's in my spreadsheet. That's the number she gets. So I run a little program at the end of every month and then quarter, and it trues up, and I get that data from eBay report, and I parse that report out to run it through this system, and it trues up how many I sold. That gives me my accurate, what my average sale price is, how many cards are moving. It gives me a little bit of data to play with, but it also removes it from the spreadsheet. So at the end for next year, anything that has quantity available 0, I'll delete off the spreadsheet, and then anything with a quantity of 1 or plus, it'll save. It's another little routine I got that runs by itself every year. So that's what I do. How does it help me also? I'm good at transposing numbers, just like every time a human gets involved with something, we're going to mess things up, screw it up. I'll put the wrong sticker on the wrong card, or I'll transpose, say that on here there's 88734. Maybe I put 87834. I put it in the right spot in the box with the right sticker, but in eBay I put 87834 instead of 88734. I go to the box, it's sold, I look at the SKU number, I go to pull it out, it's not there. I just grab the title or the SKU number, go into the spreadsheet, and I grab the title and I go into the spreadsheet and I just search on there. It'll tell me the correct SKU number. It has saved me many times for my mistakes. Does it cause a little bit more work, a couple of seconds, copying and pasting and stuff like that, but it helps me in the long run so I don't have problems, and I have my numbers for the end of the year. So it's a wash to me. Some people think it's overkill, but I've been doing it since I started resale. I even did it when I did toys and stuff. I knew exactly what I had in there. So yeah, I do have a spreadsheet with everything in there. It's just the eBay title with a date and a SKU number and what I paid for it and stuff. I hope that helps. If anybody got any more questions about that, just let me know. But again, I'll never share that spreadsheet because I want to get in technical support. There's a lot of formulas, and if you don't have the right stuff, and understand it, it's not going to help. It'll hinder you more. So you can create stuff like this. It's very simple, as you saw in there. Date, item, whatever. But if you're not using spreadsheets, I recommend people learn them. It makes the business what-if scenarios great. Zoo postcards. Let me know if you got any great zoo postcards that you sold and stuff, or show and tell and stuff. We'd love to see what all the cards like that. Bengal tiger still in my head. That colorful one they sold for $12. If I see stuff like that, I'm going to price it up a little bit and go out there and do a little bit more homework on those. Who would thought that would have went for $12? It's a tiger. Animal card. Average. But it's sold for $12. A turtle, $20. Some park entrances. You can do that with every card out there. There's some outliers and some go higher, or just that. Maybe it's a one-off deal and stuff like that. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Check out these fish from an aquarium. It's from the Moat Aquarium in Sarasota, Florida, is where I got a lot of these pictures from. That I go down there, and every year I go to the Moat Aquarium and support them. They do a lot of conservation stuff with the ocean, and that's where a lot of these fish are.